What's good, Cosmo Collective? Welcome back to Eternity Tarot. I'm Eternity, and if it's your first time here, thanks for joining me for the first time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're returning, thanks so much for being a part of the Cosmo Collective. In today's reading, we'll be exploring where do you need to release fear and trust your path. So this is just going to be a reading for those of you who are maybe concerned about the shadow elements that are holding you back or looking for a breakthrough. Pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty fun to get into. As always, this is a timeless reading, so whenever you're finding it, as long as it feels like it's resonating for you, there's a message here for you. And of course, it is a collective reading, so only take the messages that resonate for you and leave behind anything that doesn't to resonate for someone else. If you want to just skip immediately to your reading, the timestamps are going to be down below, as always. And if you'd like to do the pile selection, we'll get into the pile selection now. If you chose the card in the thumbnail with the red border or the Queen of Wands, pile 1 is your reading. If you chose the card in the thumbnail with the orange border or the Devil, pile 2 is your reading. If you chose the card in the thumbnail with the yellow border or the Six of Cups, pile 3 is your reading. Whenever you're ready, I'll meet you at your reading. Pile 1, if you chose the card in the thumbnail with the red border or the Queen of Wands, this is your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. Let's get into it. Messages for pile 1, please, Spirit. Messages for pile 1. Where does pile 1 need to release fear and trust their path? We have the Death card. So automatically, my first impression for you, pile 1, is that there's something Spirit is transforming in your life, whether that be a person you loved and cared about transitioning, or maybe there's a stage within your life that you're called to leave behind. All in all, the overall energy so far is that there's a need for surrender, right? Because when the Death card shows up for us, that means that a transformation is occurring and it's unavoidable. It's not something you can run from, so that requires surrender. Messages for pile 1. Where can pile 1 release fear and trust their path? Okay. Temperance. All right, 2 major arcana cards on the board already. Where does pile 1 need to release fear and trust their path? Okay, 3 major arcana cards. So Spirit has really given us the overarching themes of where you need to release fear and trust your path. And it's quite interesting, the cards they've chosen, because now we have the Moon. So we have transformation through Death card coming up already. And then we have Temperance, which is a need to find balance and to bring balance to things. And then we have the Moon card, which is all about hidden, Spirit is calling me to say energies, but really the Moon card is like hidden emotions, hidden limiting self-beliefs, not even limiting self-beliefs, just limiting beliefs. Looks like for some reason someone came into the studio. So I was saying with the Moon card isn't, it was saying the opportunity to improve your plans, listen to your intuition for accurate guidance, and face your fears and grow stronger. So the question we've asked here today is, where do you need to release fear and trust your path, pile 1? And so I'm already getting, Spirit's message is actually quite simple, and it's sort of a bit redundant as well, because Spirit is saying you need to, I get it. The message so far is really having trust in yourself, in your abilities, and your intuition. Maybe you're someone who has struggled with self-confidence or self-worth or imposter syndrome, like believing that you deserve all the things that you have in your life, or believing that you're good enough for certain opportunities to come your way. And these thoughts, these limiting self-beliefs are holding you back. And despite having these doubts about yourself and despite having imposter syndrome, I'm getting with the death card, you have reached the stages you need to reach. You have transformed. You know, the caterpillar either is going to become a butterfly or the caterpillar has already become the butterfly. But it's just about believing you can fly now. And I know that because with the Temperance card, it's saying we need to come back into equilibrium. There's some sort of hot and cold energy here that needs to be balanced. And that really is coming from your thoughts about yourself and what you think you deserve, what you believe about yourself. Let's take some clarifiers here. Clarify the death card. Where does Pile 1 need to release fear and trust their path? Clarify the death card, please, Spirit. Clarify the death card, please, Spirit. Just one card, please, Spirit. For Pile 1, there it is. My goodness. Wow, all of these cards in the deck, and you've just gotten major arcana so far. So we have the Fool. The death card is clarified by the Fool, and Spirit is saying immediately, where do you need to release fear? Your fear needs to be released with regards to changing and transforming and being different than who you used to be. Maybe you just had a life-altering transformation. For instance, as I mentioned, someone transitioned onto a different plane. They died. But also Spirit just gave me another message for those who might identify with being like a new parent or new mother. Maybe you're struggling with postpartum depression, or maybe you're not sure if you're doing it right. And when I say new mothers or new parents, let me be very clear. That can be a whole wide array of things. You could be a new parent to a dog or a cat. You could be a new parent to a child that you just adopted. You could be a new parent to a child you fostered. You could be a new parent to a new business. Anything that it sort of feels like you're giving birth to and ushering into the world. Or you could even be a new parent to yourself in the sense that you're reparenting yourself. You're like doing the work to process any trauma or any things that have been weighing on you with regards to your history, like maybe therapy or self-help. Spirit is saying, okay, you're in the state where you have to surrender. You're in the state of transformation, and where you need to release fear within that transformation is the fear of flying and failing. Spirit is calling you to take a new perspective on this transformation that you've been called to embark on. Spirit is saying, just look at things with a new, fresh perspective. Look at them with the perspective of the Fool, with the naivete of the Fool. Maybe you're someone who is constantly thinking and planning for the worst to occur, and Spirit is asking, instead of asking what's the worst that could happen with this new phase of your life where you can't go back to the way that things once were, Spirit is instead asking you to look at what's the best that can happen from this transition. What's the best that can happen? Okay, I'm a new parent. I don't know if I'm doing it right. It's really hard. The baby just wants to eat, poop, and sleep. Or this little puppy is tearing up my floors, scratching everything. They already wrecked my several pairs of shoes, and they keep eating my underwear. Spirit is saying, okay, so what's the best case scenario that can happen? And really also Spirit is calling you to remind yourself, what was the dream with regards to this new transition that you had to take? If it's a transition I keep saying transition, a transformation you weren't expecting, then Spirit is calling you to create a dream within this new reality. Because with transformation, there's no going back. With transformation, it's done. We've already transformed. You know, the butterfly cannot go back to becoming a caterpillar. That time of its life is over. Maybe you're someone who's having difficulty letting go of your own childhood and stepping into adulthood. So what can you do that you couldn't do as the caterpillar, Pile 1? And it's so interesting how Spirit has answered this question for you, because where we see, where do you need to release fear? Fear isn't Spirit isn't so much calling you to release fear. Spirit is actually asking you to take fear out of the equation altogether and simply trust your path. Trust that it's all going to work out for you, because it always has. Have you died yet? If you're watching this video, you ain't dead yet. If you're watching this reading, you haven't died yet. You still can do some things. So if you're a new parent, for instance, Spirit is saying, you know, what was the dream that made you choose to embark on this journey as a new parent? If it's really hard and challenging for you now, okay, how can we step outside of that framework right now and think, okay, what's the coolest thing I can do with this baby right now? I mean, I'm already thinking of one, pal, pal one, like, look for one of those cute little onesies in their size with like your favorite cartoon character and dress them up as your favorite like cartoon characters. Or like if it's a puppy or something, I love, even if it's a cat or a turtle or a bearded dragon or something, maybe that's confirmation for some of you. I love when people like have a dog or a cat and they dress it up as another animal, like, oh, this isn't a dog, this is a dinosaur, you know? Spirit is also saying, don't be afraid to make mistakes and be silly, because that's what the Fool does. In order to have mastery over this new transformation within your life, we have to start as the Fool. We all have to start somewhere. So stop beating yourself up for not getting it right immediately. Clarify temperance, please, Spirit. Clarify temperance. Where do you need to release fear and trust your path? Pile 1. Clarify temperance. I'm only going to take one, Spirit. Spirit said take the one on the top. Oh my goodness. The Star. Okay, dang. You guys are going major arcana for major arcana right now. Period. That kind of just, no, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. So now we have the temperance clarified by the Star. So first off, with the Star can symbolize healing, but it can also symbolize your dream or a sense of direction and purpose, like the North Star. So Spirit is calling you to do a few things in order to release fear and trust your path. First, Spirit is asking you to ground yourself, find a sense of direction, find your North Star. Temper and balance yourself so that you can find your North Star. That's why Spirit said grounding. Come back to yourself. Take some time for yourself. Slow down. Breathe. That way you can have that guiding light, that shining light that you can move towards, because being disoriented isn't going to help you trust your path. If anything, it's going to make you feel even more fearful. The Fool, when the Fool goes on the Fool's journey, the Fool has to choose a direction. At first, you might be exploring the garden, exploring the world, but eventually you will have to choose a path. So that's the first message. Then there is a message of healing as well. As we can see with the Temperance card, the Temperance, the Archangel is pouring water between cups. And within the Star card, we see the other Archangel, Jophiel, pouring water out of the cups. So Spirit is saying to integrate your emotions and your various thoughts and new beliefs, and integrate the experience you're having for the first time with your current self, okay? Embody this transformation. Don't stay in the chrysalis. Don't stay in the chrysalis trying to stay in the in-between state of caterpillar and butterfly. No, Spirit is saying integrate all that you've learned as the caterpillar, integrate all that you've gained in the chrysalis, and become the butterfly with all of the new information and old information you have at your disposal, and then heal anything that needs to be healed. Okay, address any concerns, any limiting beliefs, anything that's holding you back. Address that for yourself, and then pour it out, let it go and let it flow, in order to integrate your dream, because anything that's happening for you, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if transformation and change feels bad, pile one, it's all happening for you, okay? And it says the end of a difficult situation. So that's confirmation for someone. Something has closed, a cycle has closed for good. You've integrated a karmic lesson or something like that, and that's the end of a chapter. Clarify the moon, please, Spirit. Clarify the moon. Let's see if we can get one more major arcana. Clarify the moon, please, Spirit, for pile one. Where do they need to release fear? Y'all see how that flew out? And trust their paths. Okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles. Spirit is really challenging you to see what thoughts and beliefs you're investing in within yourself. And also really inspect what fears you're investing in, what limiting beliefs you're investing in, what beliefs in general you're investing in. Maybe you're someone who gets like a lot of advice on social media or something like that. I always say when it comes to taking like dating advice from social media, money advice, it's like you really don't know the people you're taking advice from. If you're someone who looks at Gary Vaynerchuk videos all the time, hustle and grind, or Matthew Hussey videos for dating or something, we really don't know who these people are. And I encourage you, if you're consuming lots of advice and self-help and it's starting to make you anxious or feel confused, because I was in that place at one point, take a step back, like we said, ground, integrate, and ask myself, why am I listening to this voice? Why am I taking this into account? Of all they've shown me, is this the kind of person I would normally take advice from? Maybe do a little bit more research. Where do they come from? Is their background the background that they're constantly touting, that they say they are? You know, if you're a man, for instance, and you're into that red pill content, a lot of the people who are selling you the dream of being a millionaire or billionaire, and they're showing you the luxury lifestyle, and they're showing you these sports cars and things like that, and encouraging you to talk to women or talk to the people you want to date in a certain way in order to get more of them or to get people to respect you. You have to ask yourself, wait, do they own that car? They're a billionaire, so proclaimed, but who are they making their money off of? Are they in real estate? What do they do? How did they make their billions? Oh, their billions they're making off of social media. Okay, so if they're making this amount of money off of social media, then what's the product? Because I'm seeing these videos for free. And I'm seeing their membership and their subscription plans, but that plan it's not $1 billion and it doesn't have 10,000 members, you know? And then ask yourself, well, where do they get their sports car? If you see them constantly changing sports car, constantly changing house, that's typically a sign someone is renting and they're not actually owning. And guess what? If it's free, you're the product. Before I clear those cards away, I wanted to show the bottom of the deck. So we have a confirmation here, and there's our 6th major arcana card for you, pile one. The bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. It says Archangel Haniel, powerful psychic insights, reflection, and meditation that provides valuable information, and be at peace. So, pile one, that is a confirmation for you also to listen to your gut, to listen to your intuition as a guiding light. Spirit is saying that is your North Star, your intuition. We gave you the voice inside of you, your higher self. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. Your gut, your higher self, your inner knowing, your intuition, your third eye knowing, inner guidance system, inner guidance, inner voice, whatever the fuck you want to call it, pile one. Spirit is saying, listen to that more often than not. We're constantly providing you with nudges towards the things that you want. And all the transformation we're sowing in your life for you, pile one, the purpose is to aid you in all of your initiatives, okay? That's what Spirit just said to me. The purpose is to aid you in all of your initiatives. So, pile one, pretty simple reading today. Where do you need to release fear and trust your path? I don't think there's much more we need to get into with regards to the tarot cards today. I know my readings this week have been a little bit brief, but sometimes I think a concise message is more powerful than a long-winded one. Let's get into some oracle cards for you today. Advice and guidance for pile 1 on where they can release fear and trust their path, where they need to release fear and trust their path. Advice and guidance for pile 1, please, Spirit. Advice and guidance for pile 1, please, Spirit. Oh, one of my shadow cards accidentally got in there. Interesting. Advice and guidance for pile 1, please, Spirit. There we go. We have Sun Crown. I love when that card comes out. Ooh, let's just take, oh, there it is. Sparks. So I'm getting already, pile 1, Spirit is saying to keep in mind, to feel gratitude and to keep in mind that you have earned your place. Wherever you are, Spirit is asking you not to wherever you are, Spirit is asking you not to stew in these thoughts of imposter syndrome or self-doubt, because you've earned your spot. That's what Spirit just told me. You earned your spot. And so to poison this with negative thinking or like you didn't deserve it would be such a waste of a blessing. And so Spirit is calling you not to sow your own negative seeds and thoughts, but rather to give yourself the compassion, grace, and acknowledgement that you deserve. Advice and guidance for pile 1. See how that just came out like butter. And desire. Oh, such beautiful cards. And I love with these 3 cards, pile 1, you can really see the sort of like electric, light, positive energy in each of the cards. Like they all look like someone or something lit up with the best energy. So, Sun Crown. It says, in the court of the universe, we are all divine royalty infused with stardust and miracles. If you have been taught to hide and shrink yourself, come on, confirmation. If you have been taught to hide and shrink yourself, sometimes the most healing thing is to let yourself be seen for exactly who you are. Shine brightly, child of the universe. When you let your true radiance overflow, your divine visibility gives others the permission to let themselves be seen and celebrated too. For the rest of today and for the rest of your life, move through the world with boldness, with your head held high as though a sun crown of golden light enshrines you. So Spirit is saying, don't be afraid to shine your light. You went through hell and back to find this light and to hold on to it and to shine it. You know, going through the chrysalis is not easy for the caterpillar. It doesn't know if it's going to come out on the other end. It doesn't know what it's going to transform into. I always think about this, pile 1, like when a caterpillar decides it's time to become a butterfly, do they know what they'll become? When they spread their wings for the first time and they find that they're different and they're more mature and their physical body is completely different to how it used to be. Did they know that was going to occur? Think about your transition from childhood to adulthood. If you've made that transition, hopefully everyone watching my videos is 18 and up. Think about how starkly different your life seems. Think about how small your world was and consequently your problems were in that first iteration of life. And think about how big and how bright and how scary, but unique and empowering your new phase is, where you can literally choose anything with your free will. No one has autonomy over your body, your choices, your mind. No one is telling you what to think, or maybe everyone is telling you what to think, but you get to choose. Spirit is saying to shine your light and to enjoy all of this freedom and this autonomy that you've earned for yourself. And imposter syndrome has no place here. That is how you release fear and trust your path, by knowing who you are, Pal 1. Sparks. What makes you feel like the most alive version of yourself? Before we analyze things with our critical and rational thinking minds, our bodies communicate to us. Excitement blooming in our chests like giant flowers, rivers of electricity racing up and down our spines, our faces breaking into radiant smiles, our lips parting to let out joyful screams of glee. Our bodies don't lie when we're excited and delighted. What makes our hearts swell with a big, resounding, visceral yes? Let the sparks and currents of your bodily joy move you toward the beauty of your truth of what is to come. I love this message for you, Pal 1. Spirit is saying, this is probably their most crystal clear guidance. Spirit is saying, in order to release fear and trust your path, Pal 1, move towards what feels good. The body keeps the score, and that means that the body also knows what feels good, what intuitively feels right. Have you ever had a moment in your life, Pal 1, where it just felt wrong? You didn't know what was coming next. You didn't know what was around the corner, but it just felt wrong, like it wasn't in alignment with you, like it just didn't fit. Have you ever met a person like that, where you meet them for the first time and every single thing about them should be right? On paper, they're right. In person, they're right, but they're dead behind the eyes, and it just feels wrong. Well, we have the opposite experiences too, Pal 1. There are just some things before you even know who you're about to encounter. Have you ever seen someone and you've known, oh, I'm going to fall in love with them? And it's such a beautiful moment, because for a moment you're just steeped in this clarity and this knowing, and you have no idea how it's going to unfold. You have no idea if it's going to work out, but it just feels so good to know in that moment, I'm going to fall in love with them. Or you go to school for the first time and you take a course in college or something like that, and the professor starts talking, and suddenly it dawns on you that this is your calling. This is your life. A lot of mathematicians have that. All of a sudden, it's like the numbers are such a beautiful language, or maybe it was an instrument. Spirit is saying that is your body communicating with you, drawing you, calling you towards something. That inner knowing that we talked about, Pal 2. Follow it, chase it. It's not going to steer you wrong. And I love how each card is transitioning to the next step. I don't know if you've noticed that, Pal 1, but card number 3 is desire. The original meaning of the word desire is from the stars. Come on, confirmation, that North Star message. Our desires are divine. When we listen to them, we become illuminated as though we are made up of stars. What moves you to embody the brilliance of celestial bodies? Let your deepest desires light up every cell of your body until you are as luminous as the night sky, overflowing with the incandescent sparkles of the Milky Way. Don't worry about the fulfillment of the desire. Simply bask in the beauty of it as you revel in its endless possibilities. Revel. That is the message. Revel in these feelings. In that moment that I told you about, where you meet someone and you just know, oh, it's unavoidable. I'm going to fall in love with him, and I'm going to fall hard. That is a moment of reveling. It's not a coincidence that revel is a major core part of the word revelation. To be and exist in a moment, and to extend that moment and stretch time as far as it can go, just to sit and be present with it. Spirit is saying all of your desires will unfold in divine perfect timing. So Why not sit with the greatness, the bigness, the excitement of it? I have to tell you, Pal One, I love this message. And just to give you an example, one of the things that I do when I really want something, like clothes, for instance, I'm in a moment right now where I completely want to transform my wardrobe in order to have the wardrobe I feel most aligns with me. And sometimes I just sit until I'm filled to the brim with excitement. Like I just sit and think of how good the silk is going to feel on my body. And then when I think of the silk on my body, I start thinking of how I'm going to move and walk into the clothes and walk in the clothes. And then I start thinking about how other people will see the clothes move with my body and how this kind of fabric flows with my body. And that gives me such joy, Pawan. And then I think of how amazing and accomplished I'll feel after I've already achieved these clothing. And the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, the clothes are already on my body. And so the manifestation becomes visceral. And I'm not surprised when this manifestation eventually shows up in my life, because guess what? I've already felt everything that the manifestation had to offer before it even arrived, Pal One. I achieved such a point of thinking about this outfit, baby. I thought about this outfit so long the other day that I said, oh, I came to a revelation, a realization, oh, the outfit is already here. I don't see it in my reality just yet, but I can literally feel myself in these clothes I've never seen or felt before. I know that I'm going to get them no matter how expensive they are, because I feel them on my body, like delusionally. But sometimes delulu is a good thing. Delulu leads to dreams. If it wasn't for delulu, we would have never put a man on the moon, let alone as many as we have now. Pal One, that is your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. What a fun message for you today. So healing, so beautiful. Thank you for allowing me to read for you today. It was my pleasure, as it always is, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, Pal One. Pile 2, if you chose the card in the thumbnail with the orange border or the devil card, this is your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. Let's get into it. Messages for Pile 2. Oh my goodness. Okay, already we have the 10 of Wands. So first impressions, Pile 2, the card you chose in the pile selection was the devil, and the first card out is the 10 of Wands. You struggling, baby. You're struggling, and maybe you're also operating out of your lower nature because of this struggle, and it's just making things worse. Where does pile 2 need to release fear and trust their path? 9 of Pentacles. Okay, I'm getting that maybe someone has been thinking of moving out or moving from a certain place. One of these is talking about moving out of home for someone, like maybe you are in college or are college aged and you live with your parents because it was cheaper or something like that. It doesn't have to just be that you're college age. It could be for some reason or other you moved in with your parents because it was more financially feasible. They're not charging you rent. But you know what they say, oh, that's so sad, Pal, too. What you don't pay for in dollars, you pay for with your mental health when living with family members. 4 of Swords. Okay, and there is a need for rest. So I definitely see for you, Pal 2, where you need to release fear and trust your path. You need to let go of any burdens. For one, let go of effortfulness. In the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, the way that the 10 of Wands is represented is a man holding 10 huge wands on his back that are literally weighing him down, and unfortunately he's been carrying them for so long that he probably doesn't truly feel the weight of it anymore, in the same way that someone newly holding those wands, carrying those wands might feel, but the weight is there, okay? And also, just because your body has become accustomed to maybe survival mode, if you're someone who resonates with being in survival mode, I'm also getting someone walking on eggshells, someone needing to leave a toxic or abusive relationship, and maybe you've even tried a couple of times, Paul, too. I'm not going to sit here and be one of those persons, those people who tries to say, "Oh, it's easy. If that person's so bad for you, why don't you just leave?" Manipulation is hard. It's hard to leave certain circumstances. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you don't have the funds. Okay? But Spirit is saying, find a way day by day to let these burdens go. In fact, what I'm getting is Spirit is saying, stop giving a fuck. That's the quickest way to get those sticks off of your back. For someone who's been carrying 10 wands on their back, you might think, I just need to lighten the load. But that's not going to do it. When you've been carrying 10 wands on your back for a long, arduous time, to whittle it down to 8 wands isn't going to make any difference. What the character needs to do in the 10 of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot is to let the shoulder straps go and let those wands fall where they may. I'm seeing for you, Paul, too, you need to let whatever is burdening you go. You need to let the thoughts associated with that go. Spirit is also saying maybe someone is battling being unhoused or living out of their car. You can live out of your car, but your mind doesn't have to feel like it's living in the car. You know that there's a place you want to get to if you're living out of your car, or if you're unhoused at the moment, you know that. So Spirit is saying, instead of staying in those thoughts of where you are, focus on where you're going. Focus on that dream you're building. Focus on that wish fulfillment that is imminent for you, and focus on rest. That is how you release fear and trust your path. Because if you're staying in the mental framework of the 10 of Wands and your thoughts create your own reality, Pal, too, every time you think to yourself, this is the worst day of my life. This is the worst thing in my life. I'm never going to get out of this. I'm never going to get out of it. You're adding another day until you stop thinking those thoughts and you start thinking fresh thoughts, which is, this is not endless. Nothing is endless. Everything always ends. And one of these days, I'm going to be out of this car. One of these days, I'm going to be out of this relationship. And when you start thinking more aligned with those thoughts, all of a sudden, you're creating a world where your wish fulfillment is possible, and you can just step right into it with ease. Clarify the 10 of Wands, Spirit. Where does Pile 2 need to release fear and trust their path? Where does Pile 2 need to release fear and trust their path? 7 of Swords. Yeah, that's confirmation. It says there is a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer, and review all the details. Okay, in this card, we literally see the angels guiding this person down the right path, and they're just staring at the dark, narrow path. This comes back to that mental framework that we talked about. You also need to integrate the core belief that the world around you is here to support you. Pile 2, you need to start telling yourself, with whatever burden you're carrying, maybe I didn't say whichever burden you're carrying, maybe those storylines don't resonate with you, Pile 2, but you need to trust that the universe has your back, that they're going to provide the angel, that they're going to provide the earth angel, that they're going to provide the cooperative components that are going to get you on the right path and allow you to release the 10 of Wands. You shouldn't be so fearful of the world, in the sense that the world will never help you. It will only harm you. There are people out there in this world who do only want to harm and hinder us, but they're few and far between. I always say, even the worst people you've ever met has helped someone in their hour of need. Ted Bundy, horrible, horrible man, horrible atrocities committed. But for every abusive person, they have a slew of people who they've helped and contributed valuably in some way, shape, or form, just so that their abuses could be hidden. Or maybe They just didn't feel like committing an atrocity today. Someone needed $1. They gave them $1. The worst people you know have helped someone. And I hate to say it, I hate to frame it that way, but if you're someone who's afraid of the world and thinks that the world is just going to harm and hurt us, the worst person you've ever met in your entire life has helped someone in their hour of need. Think about that. We're all brushing shoulders with one another far too much for every single person to be purely evil. Not my stomach growling in the middle of the reading. Yeah, you might be someone dealing with food scarcity right now as well. Spirit is saying to rely on your community when it comes to food scarcity. And also, I'm getting a message now. Now I think that's why Spirit called my stomach to growl. Spirit is also telling you don't be too proud to accept help, okay? In moments like these, when we're carrying all the wands on our back, like it says, working alone may not be the best answer. Spirit is saying, call on your community. You might say, I don't have any community. I don't know anyone. All the people I know, I fucking hate. I've been there. But you can find someone. If you can't find someone who is for sure community, who's good, who you know can help you, and everyone you know around you, you fucking hate, find that person who you hate a little bit less. And then once you find that person you hate a little bit less, find somebody that you just feel neutral about. You don't like them, you don't hate them. And then once you've done that, eventually you'll probably find someone you like because they'll come into your reality because it's an attraction-based universe. And also Spirit is saying your dreams are fulfilled. So as far as Spirit is concerned, Pal 2, you are on your path. That's a confirmation for you right there. And it is all working out for you, even if it doesn't currently look like it. In fact, Spirit is saying you're the only one who needs to get with the program, baby. No matter what scenario you're in, you're the only one that needs to get with the program and understand that everything is always working out for you, and we're not going to keep you in this unsatisfying space for too long. Longer than it needs to be. So we have the 9 of Pentacles clarified by the 7 of Cups. And this is Spirit saying, you got options, baby. Don't think you don't have options. Maybe you can't see them right now, but you always have options. You always have options. Where do you need to release fear? You need to release the fear that there's no one who's going to help you, that the world is a harmful place, and that you're doing it all alone. You need to release that narrative that you're doing it all alone. You need to release this fear that you only have one choice to make, and it's not a satisfying choice to you, and you need to integrate the belief that you always have options, because guess what? If it's a law of attraction based universe and our first point of attraction is our thoughts, Pile 2, then as soon as you think to yourself, oh, I have options, options will show up. Guaranteed. Maybe you're someone who hates your job. Lord knows I had that experience. One of my biggest fears at one point in my life was I hated my job. It made me want to unalive myself every single day. But I was scared to leave it, even though every single day I got closer and closer to wanting to unalive myself. And I would always say, I don't know if I can leave this job though, because it's more money than I've ever made in my entire life. At that point in time, I didn't even know the money I was making still would be considered below the poverty line. Okay? But I was convinced I didn't have any other option. I can't make it out there. I can't make money out there. Would you know, Paul, too? I haven't had to work a traditional job in 4 years, and I've traveled the world, and I have a beautiful apartment, and I have a beautiful life, all because I took that leap of faith. I stepped out on courage, believed I could do it, and I just told the universe, I'm never working a traditional job ever again. I don't know how I'm going to find the money. I don't know how I'm going to do any of this, but I know I'm not doing corporate ever again. I know I'm not going to work in someone's restaurant ever again. And so far, I haven't died. I've had food every single night. Yes, I've had to put some systems in place to make sure there's always food every night. Yes, I've had to go through some seasons where there was less money or no money, but I made it through. Oh my goodness. Spirit just, I love when Spirit gives me music. They just said, Degrassi, baby, whatever it takes. Come on, sing it with me now. I know I can make it through. That's what I tell myself sometimes when I'm struggling. Pile 2. If I hold out, if I do, I know I can make it through. 4 of Swords, clarified by the 9 of Swords. Damn, Pile 2, you going through it. And then the rest of the song is be the best that I can be, whatever it takes. I know I can make it through. Okay, so maybe somebody needed to hear that. Maybe that's confirmation for someone. If you like Drake, maybe that's confirmation for you. Although liking Drake post Kendrick is crazy. Okay, so listen. Pile 2, Spirit is saying, first and foremost, some of y'all simply just need more sleep. Maybe you're working 2 jobs, 80 hours a week, and you need more sleep and more rest. Spirit is also saying some of the guidance will come through for you through sleep and rest, okay? Spirit is also saying it's time to rest and let go of ruminating thoughts and let go of anxiety, okay? Where do you need to release fear and trust your path? It's very clear, Pile 2. You need to believe that there is a community for you that will help you on whatever journey, whatever burden you're trying to pass right now. There are people that will help you. Spirit will help you. Angels will help you. Earth angels will help you. You need to believe you have options and you can have your dreams, you can have your wish fulfillment and your dreams fulfilled. You need to let go of anxiety, control your thoughts, control your ruminating thoughts. Don't give weight, don't give credence to all negative thoughts. You know, and again, you might be struggling with your mental health. You might not be able to eradicate all negative thoughts. So if you can't get rid of all of them at once, start with 1. Tell myself I'm going to think 1 less negative thought per day. Okay, Pile 2. And then also Spirit is saying you need rest and you need sleep. And then let's check that bottom of the deck energy out. Bottom of the deck energy. There we go. Five of Swords. When I see the 5 of Swords and the 10 of Wands together, it says, this situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment to the outcome. Consider taking a more uplifting approach. That is someone who is going through something very serious. When I see the 5 of Swords and the 10 of Wands, Spirit is not looking at this situation lightly. They're not saying, oh, no, you're being dramatic. They understand the weight of it and they acknowledge this is not serving you. So how can you trust your path and move forward? Spirit has given you all the keys to that. All right, that is the tarot portion of your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. Pile 2, let's get into some oracle cards for you. Advice and guidance for Pile 2 on where they need to release fear and trust their path. Advice and guidance for Pile 2, please, Spirit. Advice and... Ooh, you see how it flew out? Rupture. Yeah, that's confirmation and acknowledgement from Spirit. You're going through something real, baby. You're going through something real, Pile 2. They're not saying you're not, okay? They're telling you how to get through. They said whatever it takes, they know you can make it through. Sacred space. This is about carving out a place of your own. And this is the thing. A lot of people think that needs to be a physical space. If you're going through something, you know, with an abusive person or something like that, or really significant, like real 10 of Wands out here, job loss, unemployment, food scarcity, being unhoused, Spirit is saying, you might not have the capability to create a sacred space in the 3D. Sometimes the sacred space we carve out for ourselves is just within our dreams. And I'll tell you something already, Pile 2. Many people have saved themselves that way by just having a strong inner world to get through what they need to get through. Final advice and guidance for Pile 3, please, Spirit. Final advice and guidance for Pile... Ooh, I said Pile 3, Pile 2. Oh, my goodness. I am a vast experience. Maybe Pile 3 has some messages for you, okay, Pile 2? Feel free to check that out if you felt called towards it. I am a vast experience. Let's start with the first card. Rupture. Sometimes a rupture occurs in our lives that completely breaks our hearts. Our expectations and hopes and dreams for a certain kind of future are shattered beyond repair, and there is no turning back to the old ways of being. It is okay to grieve. It is okay to feel the heartbreak. Sometimes a rupture breaks us open like a geode, revealing the brilliance of our being that we otherwise would have never known. We may break, but we also learn new ways to survive and mend ourselves back together into new shapes. Spirit said to me just now with that card, you need to give yourself a pat on the back for your resilience, whatever you're going through, Pile 1. Maybe I didn't say the storyline today. Maybe I didn't get it exactly. Doesn't matter. Spirit is saying you're resilient, okay? And you don't understand. You can't see. You don't have the vantage point over your life that we have. I'm pointing to me. I don't know everything. Let me point up, okay? You don't have the full picture. But the picture you do have, you need to champion yourself and you need to understand the brilliance of who you are and that you made it through everything you thought you'd never make it through, Pile 1. Pile 2. Oh my goodness. Not me messing up on your pile. I guess maybe there's some messages for you in Pile 1 as well. Spirit says you maybe struggle with trusting the path because you kind of don't know where it's going and you're like, yo, we're kind of off book here. What the fuck is going on, Spirit? But Pile 2, Spirit has told me they have something very big planned for you. Maybe all of this will culminate into you writing a book or sharing your story. We don't know that. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's something else. Your talents, your brilliance will be shown to the world. Okay, Pile 2? Sacred space. Your home is a sacred space because it contains you. A sacred being worthy of comfort, safety, stability, and pleasure. Does the energy and frequency of your living space reflect this? Does your home honor you and nurture you and replenish you, providing you a sanctuary of comfort, or is your home more draining and depleting? What needs to change in order for your environment to be aligned with your growth and create conditions for the life you truly desire? So, Pile 2, usually Spirit calls us to transform our inner world. So when I see a card specifically asking, what do you need to transform in your physical world? That tells me, yeah, the physical world not looking the way it needs to look for you. And maybe it's not being unhoused or anything as serious as that. Maybe it's back to that storyline of paying your rent via mental health to mom and dad, okay? But Spirit is saying, give something up. Let some things go. That's what we saw with that 10 of Wands. It's time to let something go. Something in your home life isn't working out. Maybe it's making you feel unsafe. Maybe it's making you feel unwelcomed. Maybe you are on somebody's couch right now and they just treat you like shit. Let it go. If you're worried, okay, if I don't stay on this person's couch, then I got to live in my car. Do it. At least you'll have your peace of mind. If I don't live with my parents anymore, then I got to pay rent. Pay the rent. You're not going to keep paying with your depression, okay? That's not helping anybody. Spirit is saying, let something go. And then for some of you, it could be smaller. You know, maybe Spirit is just saying, get a plant. Maybe you live in a physical space with no windows or no natural light. Get a plant. Get some signs of life in there. Look into feng shui, okay? I am a vast experience. You are far more strange, mysterious, and infinite than what meets the eye. You are the cumulative, energetic, cosmic collage of all that has come before you, including the ocean and the moon and prehistoric trees and the vast swirl of distant stars far, far away. How can you possibly fit neatly into strictly defined categories and boxes created by unimaginative, and constrictive minds. You are an always evolving, dynamic, and singular being. You don't need to explain or justify yourself. Not everyone has to understand or get you. Simply be. Spirit is saying, let go of the need to be understood. Let go of feeling misunderstood. Stop seeking that out. Stop seeking out. When we're feeling misunderstood, we're seeking validation of us as a person, our soul. Oh, I don't feel understood. So what? Do you even like the people you're seeking validation from? Do you even want to cosign? I always ask myself nowadays with people, and when people try me, the first thing I think to myself is, oh my God, how did I miss this? You created Lemonade in the self-titled album? You're Beyonce? How did I not know this? Because, bitch, are you Beyonce? Like, the only person on this earth who I care if they have an opinion about me, for real, the only one that's gonna keep me up at night when I meet her is maybe Beyonce. But I'm gonna tell you something, Paul too. If I meet Beyonce, that means I'm on the level of Beyonce. So even her opinion probably won't matter to me. Ask yourself, Paul too, do you really need to be understood by these bugaboos? Okay, Beyonce reference, that's confirmation for somebody. Do you really need to be understood by these people? Do you really need to be understood by your parents? Do they really have to get why you do the things you do? No. Because do they do the things you do? No. Can they do the things you do? No. They can't. Would they even have the courage to try? Probably not. Okay? So why are we trying to get validation from the barista at the coffee shop? Why do you need them to like you? You don't. You don't actually need people to like you to move forward. I know, what's his name? The guy who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People. I know he said, be likable. You need people. You don't. We live in an information economy with the internet. Okay? It's 8 billion people on this earth. I don't need the people immediately around me to like me. It's plenty of celebrities I don't like who are still getting paid, who are still keeping food on the table, and they couldn't care about me at all because they're focused on their path, as you should be with yours, pal, too. Pal 2, that is your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it, and it was my pleasure reading for you, as it always is. I look forward to reading for you soon. Pile 3, if you chose the card in the thumbnail with the yellow border or the 6 of Cups, this is your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. Let's get into it. Not the cards already falling out for you, pile 3. Okay. Oh my goodness. You can't see it off camera right now, but man, it's like a quarter of the pile just fell just now. What the helly? Oh my goodness. Okay, pile 3. I can already tell by the energy we're about to have some fun. Okay. Spirit, where does pile 3 need to release fear and trust their path? Where does pile 3 need to release fear and trust their path? Judgment. It's time to make a judgment call, pile 3. Okay, you've been assessing something. It's time to strike it out. Maybe, or choose to keep it. Let's get into it. And just so you know, pile 3, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter reading today because my intention is to give some clearer, more concise guidance today. I don't believe every single message needs to come in a long-winded format. Sometimes I think it's more concise and clear when you have a shorter reading and you just know what you need to do. So we have the Ace of Swords. And come on, as I'm talking about concise and clear, Ace of Swords, something is cutting through the noise. I'm getting where you need to release fear and trust your path already, pile 3, is there's something you've been avoiding saying or you're not saying. Page of Pentacles. So maybe it's about speaking up for yourself and choosing, really telling your family or whoever where you're going to where you're choosing to go to college, or also if you're choosing to take a gap year or something like that, or you're choosing what career path or like way of life level of studying that you want to do. It says an excellent opportunity will be offered to you. Scholarships or the pursuit of education. Time to get to work. Clarify the judgment card, please, Spirit. Where does pile 3 need to release fear and trust their path? Clarify judgment, please, Spirit. Only taking one card, Spirit. Clarify judgment, please, Spirit. There she is. Okay, you want me to take that reversed or upright? Reversed or upright? Come on, Spirit, quit playing. Upright. Okay, yeah, so I'm getting that you're indecisive about something right now. There's a truth that you've been avoiding speaking up on. Pile 3, and Spirit is saying where you need to release fear is how you're communicating. How you're communicating about your work, your career, your education, how you're communicating in these spaces. Also, you know, a third way of life and a third education, in my opinion, is to travel. So also, if you're volunteering or you're traveling and learning about different cultures and things like that, it could also be about gaining more confidence in a language, or not necessarily gaining more confidence in speaking a new language, gaining the courage to start speaking in that language, and also not feeling a need for such perfection in that language. Like maybe the people around you think it's silly. Why would someone want to learn that language? You know, for instance, I speak conversational level Portuguese. I spend a lot of my time in Brazil. If you've been watching the channel for some videos, maybe you picked up on that. But every time I talk about Brazil, people always go, and oh, Brazil's such a wonderful country, but they speak Portuguese. How useless is that? You can only speak it there and in Portugal. And do you know Brazil is one of the biggest countries in the world with one of the most diverse populations in the world? When I heard people say this, I used to think before I went to Brazil, yeah, that's kind of a little silly. You know, there's only 2 places you can speak it. Brazil is huge. It's the size of the United States. So for people to treat that like a silly language is crazy to me. It might be bigger, it might be smaller. Look, I don't know everything. Whoever is about to type in the comments and go, Brazil isn't as big as the United States, it's bigger. I was saying like on average, pal. Okay? I'm just your local tarot card reader. Simmer down, okay? But maybe you're considering learning Japanese or something like that, or learning English for some of you from other countries. People also, this could be a message about someone advancing in a certain way. A lot of the times, like if you're doing something like, I'm going to learn a new language, or I'm going to go to college, and you're the first person in your family to seek higher education, a lot of people will subtly shit on that dream and make it sound ridiculous and frame it as silly to you because they just feel jealous that they can't accomplish that for themselves, or they're not smart enough, or they can't do something like that. So they rain on your parade and try to keep you small. Spirit is saying you need to stick up for yourself though, and stop being indecisive, and stop it's not just about indecision. It's about operating in 2 worlds and juggling 2 realities. Spirit is saying stand in your truth. Stand on that 10 toes down, pile 3, and come in with that sword, with that clarity, cut through the noise and cut through the bullshit, okay? Let's see what the BS is. Clarify the Ace of Swords, please, Spirit. Where does pile 3 need to release fear and trust their path? Where does pile 3 need to release fear and trust their path? You see how that came out like butter? Yes, love that. 9 of Wands. So Spirit is saying with regards to cutting through the noise and cutting through the BS, what they're talking about is having some determination with this judgment call that you're making. No matter what the outside voices and outside opinions in the peanut gallery have to say, this judgment call is your own. It's the final decisive point where you say, I'm not going to be on the fence about who I am. Maybe this is a message for someone who's coming out or considering coming out within their sexuality. And I'm going to tell you something, if that storyline aligns for you. We don't expect straight people to come out to their parents. So if you don't want to come out, you don't have to come out. You don't have to come out if you're someone who identifies as LGBTQIA+. You don't have to come out if you're someone who's trans and you need to, I'm sorry, I'm a boy, but I'm a girl, or I'm a girl, but I'm a boy, or I'm they, them. You don't have to come out if you don't want to. You can just wake up one day, choose how to present yourself, and that is how we carry forward, and choose what you respond to. If you are being misgendered, stop responding to it. You don't have to explain shit to nobody except for yourself. You owe that judgment call to yourself. You owe it to yourself not to exist in two different realities. You don't owe it to yourself to have everyone's approval. And Spirit is saying, when you cut through that noise, stand on business with that. Stay determined. Even if the path seems gray, even if you come out to your family or something, if you say, hey, I'm gay, and they're like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna have grandkids? Oh my gosh, no, go back into the closet. No. Because I'm not juggling two realities anymore. I'm not holding that within me anymore. I'm not concealing my truth. I'm making the judgment call, and it says, start a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. The past is the old. This is the new. This is where we're at. If you're someone who doesn't resonate with the storyline with regards to sexuality or gender identity, that's okay. You don't need to resonate with every storyline, okay? Maybe you're someone who's deciding on that gap year. Hey, mom and dad, I know y'all want me to go to college for 4 years right now. I want to find myself. I want to fly to Sri Lanka. Maybe that's confirmation for someone. I don't know why Sri Lanka came up, but I'll tell you one thing. Sri Lankan food is amazing. Maybe it's not that you want to travel. Maybe you want to go to trade school. Mom and dad, I actually don't want to go to college. I want to be a chef. I will go to 4 years of culinary art school, find that culinary art school, and become the best version of yourself that you can be. Maybe it's switching a career. Not all of you are going to be in that same stage of life, that early stage of life. Not all of you are going to be coming out. Maybe you're older. Maybe you're 60 years old and you finally feel like the world is safe for you to come out. Do it. Why not? Don't live in these two realities anymore. Why not? It's an infinite and ever expanding universe. We don't have to be the same person we were yesterday. We can always be a different, better version of ourselves tomorrow. Okay? Just know I'm not encouraging any of you guys to break up your families. However, if it's divorce, then it's divorce. Okay? Maybe you're a little bit tired of the weaponizing competence. Let it go. Make the judgment call. Say your truth. Maybe you just found out your partner's having an affair. Don't let him gaslight you. Stand on that. Provide the receipts and then get to stepping. Tell him kick rocks. Hit the road, Jack. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. What a fun message to deliver for you, Pop 3. Spirit, clarify that page of Pentacles upright. See, we have the Queen of Wands. So both of these cards speak to education. And I was just going to say, maybe one of the perspectives on this pile that Spirit wants us to know is also about having cleverness, okay? Being shrewd and clever. And Spirit is saying, make that judgment call, operate from a place of clarity with the Ace of Swords, but also be discerning and clever with how you navigate that, okay? Because both the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands are cards about brilliant minds and people who have cleverness and strategy within their lexicon, within their skill set. But Spirit is also saying the reason they want you to have this determination and to hold on to this Nine of Wands and press forwards is the reason they want you to do that is because they're saying you got all the right stuff, okay? They're saying you're in your most attractive energy right now. Everything that you want to do with regards to this judgment call and this redirection that you're creating for yourself, you have all the makings of it. The Queen of Wands is the second most attractive energy within the deck. They're saying, Big Sexy, it's time to do it now, okay, Big Sexy? It's time to live your truth now. It's time to get off of the fence. Why? Because being on the fence hurts. Where do those spikes go if we're sitting on the fence? It's only a couple holes down there for the different bodies we have, okay, people? Let's take that bottom of the deck energy. So for the bottom of the deck energy, we have the King of Cups. It says warm, generous, honorable, refined. Yes, it is safe to trust. The ability to accomplish many things at once and follow your creative passions. So I love that card for you, Pile 3, because that's a confirmation from Spirit where they're saying where you need to release fear and trust your path is you need to release the fear around this judgment call that you're making. Maybe you're making it bigger than it is. If it's with regards to your sexuality or college or transitioning or anything, you take it how it resonates. But Spirit is saying it's safe to trust it. This is a major arcana energy, which means it is divinely guided by Spirit, okay? They said, we put that there. We put that need for judgment and accountability in your life, in this season of your life. And it's safe to trust. And our cards end on you being one of the most attractive energies in the deck. And then that bottom of the deck overarching energy for your reading says it's safe to trust. So they're saying we're not gonna fail you when you make this clear decision, when you make this judgment call. We are going to be there. We're going to be the net. There's a famous phrase, leap and the net will appear. Okay, they're saying the net will appear. You just gotta do your part in the 3D. Pile 3, those are your tarot cards on where you need to release fear and trust your path. Now let's get into your oracle cards because I have to know where this is going to go. Advice and guidance for Pile 3 on where they need to release fear and trust their path. Advice and guidance for Pile 3 on where they need to release fear and trust their path. Advice and guidance for Pile 3, please, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. So we have molt. Yes, this card is about growing and changing and not being ashamed of that. Unabashedly molting, losing some feathers. There's different seasons for everything. Release. Come on, double confirmation. They're saying let something go. It's okay to change and grow and be different and evolve. Okay? It's okay to be a different person than your parents thought you would turn out to be. It's okay not to meet other people's expectations by embodying who you know yourself to be. And here we have Sun Crown. Oh my goodness, that's confirmation all over. Okay, Spirit is saying be who you want to be. Be a person you're going to be proud of being. Let's get into molt. It is time to shed the constriction costume you have been wearing and let your weirdest, freakiest, uncensored self out into the open. What old identities no longer make sense for you to squeeze into? What can be shed like an ill-fitting skin for you to move through the world more freely as your true, magnificent self? It is okay if the molting process feels ugly, messy, or downright uncomfortable and scary. Embrace the process and be ready to experience the pleasure of no longer hiding. Let your real self be seen by the world, okay? Spirit really said, let your freak flag, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Spirit said, let your freak flag fly. I love that for you, Pile 3. So what I'm getting from this card, let me look at it again. I forgot. I got a little excited by that channeled message that came through and I forgot. So Spirit wanted me to tell you about this. It is okay if the molting process feels ugly, messy, or downright uncomfortable. So Spirit is saying it's okay if the process looks messy, because you don't owe anybody a pristine transition or evolution, especially if you are someone who identifies as LGBTQIA plus in any regard, whether that be a trans person or someone considering coming out. You don't owe anybody to do that perfectly. Just like if you're someone who aligns with the storyline of leaving an industry, transitioning your job, early retirement, leaving a job in general, you don't owe these people anything and they don't owe you anything. But you were with the company for 25 years. How can you just send us an email, Bob, and then tell us you're not coming into work ever again and pay out the Roth IRA? Because I can. So what? I'm doing it today. I'm retiring today. Today I'm retired. I'm done. You don't owe anyone anything, okay? If your name's Bob, confirmation for you, Bob. B.O.B., so they calling you Bob. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little excited, can you tell? But Spirit is saying you don't owe anyone a pristine process. Where do you need to release fear and trust your path? Pile 3, you need to release this fear that you have to show up perfectly all the time while you're still evolving. No. Release. Imagine the old stories of your past as heavy, jagged boulders take up space within your body. Imagine you're suspended over an abyss, anchored on both ends by strong, loving hands. As you deeply inhale into your belly, you are summoning gratitude for what the past has taught you. As you exhale, you allow the past to be released out of your body. With every inhale and exhale, the heavy black boulders tumble out of your heart and stomach and guts and into the darkness below. Can you feel the new lightness of your being? So Spirit is saying with this card, very blatantly, release, let your old identity go. There's really nothing more to say. Spirit is saying to give yourself permission to let your old identity go. The person you were yesterday is never the same person you were today. All we have is now. And we don't have the past, we don't have the future. And what that means is every single version of us with every single breath we take is a different, unique version of us. And that's okay. Spirit is giving you permission to give yourself permission to let whatever you need to leave behind be left behind. And that's what the Judgment card was about. And then we have Sun Crown. In the court of the universe, we are all divine royalty infused with stardust and miracles. If you have been taught to hide and shrink yourself, sometimes the most healing thing is to let yourself be seen for exactly who you are. Shine brightly, child of the universe. When you let your true radiance overflow, your divine visibility gives others the permission to let themselves be seen and celebrated too. For the rest of today and for the rest of your life, move through the world with boldness, with your head held high as though a sun crown of golden light enshrines you. Okay, Spirit is giving me a couple more storylines to confirm. So all throughout this reading, I was getting a message for someone who either is a drag queen and has been hiding it or is considering going into drag. This is confirmation for you. Spirit is saying, yeah, go ahead and do that and do it without fear. Don't worry. Also, for someone who is interested in becoming a social media influencer, but a little scared because maybe people have always expected them to go on the college track or the career track, Spirit is confirming go into social media. And finally, I heard the song Shine Bright Like a Diamond. Okay, Diamonds by Rihanna. That might be confirmation for someone. All in all, the Sun Crown card is saying shine your light. And the reason to shine your light is because when you show that it's safe to shine your light, you don't know it, but you impact others with all of your brightness and goodness. And you also give them the courage to be themselves and to shine their light too. And the world needs more light in it than ever, okay? Pile 3, that is your reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. It was so fun reading for you today. I hope we had a good little kiki today, Pile 3. It's always my pleasure to read for you, and I look forward to reading for you again soon. Thank you so much for watching today's reading on where you need to release fear and trust your path. It was such a pleasure to read for you today, as it always is. If you want to tap in with me, join the Cosmo Collective by liking, sharing, and definitely subscribing to the channel. I always have fresh tarot insights weekly, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if no one told you today or no one ever told you, I love you to the moon and back.